Good evening. Here we are, live on the San Francisco Theosophical Lodge. My name is Dunin, and I'm happy to be here. I'm very grateful for Richard Power for inviting me here. He's a fellow inner yogi from San Francisco, and today I'm in Costa Rica for this live. We are celebrating the equinox also, so we're going to welcome balance. And today's talk is about enlivenment, embodiment as the way of the feminine. And I'm going to turn my phone off. Yeah, and here we are arriving. So I just want to invite those who are joining us live or listening to the recording to take a time here to fully arrive in our seat. And we are here talking about enlivenment, and this is our vessel, our temple, our body in this present moment. So if that's okay, we're going to start with a little practice to get a little taste of what inner yoga is. And that is a practice that came to me through Dina Amsterdam in 2013, so a decade ago. Activating our breath here. We're going to breathe through the nose. You can keep your eyes with a soft gaze or close your eyes if that's more comfortable. I'm just gonna check here very quick. So connecting with your breath. Let me see. I just got a technical message. Okay, all is well. That's good news. All right, let's connect with our breath. Inhaling through the nose, sipping air into our belly. And we can imagine that we're sipping air through a straw all the way down into our belly. And exhaling through the nose. Since we are at an equinox, we could also play with inhaling and exhaling for the same amount of time, if that's comfortable. I want to invite you to have an inner smile behind the eyes and an inner smile behind the mouth. And now we could add a joyful ah sound if you'd like. Ah. Another one. Ah. Allowing your belly to relax. Now you might want to notice if your seat is connected, if you feel your sit bones, if you feel your legs and your feet supported by the earth or your seat. You can start balancing left, right on the sit bones, playing with the pelvic bowl, allowing a nice rocking from side to side, and maybe front and back. Still breathing. And as you connect here, I'm going to read a poem I wrote recently. And let me find it. Okay, here it is. When we stop praying to the great mother's womb, to both the father and mother birth of the universe, the world started experiencing imbalances. We have stopped praying altogether, as the Hopi were foreseeing. The feminine, not white feminism, is rising. She is claiming back her temple, our bodies. She has compassion for all who have complied with patriarchy. She washes our feet silently, and her tears become roses as they reach the ground. Truths emerge as we remember. The priests and priestesses have tended the garden of the mysteries carefully. Once one opens to her again, she pours her nectar into their chalice. And there is no way back, only forward into wholeness. Fear not the darkness of her fertile soil, nor her power. From the womb caves of the world, we are beating the drums, so all may be enlivened again. I want to invite you to notice how these words land for you. Getting curious if anything in your body was activated. Just notice. And as these words sink in, we can go a little bit deeper in our grounding practice. So bringing your chin in, allow your sternum to move away from the low back. Still anchored through your sit bones. Breathe in. I want to invite you to imbue your hands with love, loving kindness, as if they were best friends. And your hands can come caress your head and your hair and greet your face, gently massaging your face, your neck. Here, allow a waterfalling motion on your neck. Do it a couple times. Still breathing. And then connecting with your shoulders, your arms, presencing your hands with the most loving touch. You can caress your chest, your belly, massage your back, gently rub your kidneys, and then perhaps you want to press a little more firmly on your legs with your arms, your hands. Allow yourself to arrive here fully. And contact your body, your legs, squeezing your feet if they're available, if they're not too far, and your legs with the touch that we all crave, often from another. And here we are, presencing ourselves, gifting ourselves what we often yearn for. As my teacher, Nicola Amadora, would say, what we are yearning for is our connection with the divine. So inviting that. Once you've done this sweet anchoring, let's invite, if that feels comfortable, if that's something you resonate with, let's invite the Divine Mother here in this session, in this space, in our space, or Source, however this feels and looks like for you. Let's also take a moment to acknowledge the ancestors of this land you're on. For me, it's the Chorotega people, bowing to them, and let's also honor our ancestors, thanking them for the precious gifts of our DNA, our bodies, our bones. And now allowing our tailbone to reach through all the layers of the earth, anchoring down even more through all her crusts and layers, all the way to the center. Feel her gravity. Feel her loving pull. Our bones, maybe your femur bones, can feel a little bit heavier here. We're still breathing, still smiling internally. Alright, now let's do some neck rolls, bringing our left ear to the left shoulder, some forward neck rolls. Exhaling as you roll forward, inhaling at the top. Let's repeat. Releasing the weight of the world that we carry. And once you're complete, come center. And now we're going to look towards the left. Inhale, center, exhale as you gaze towards the right. Let's repeat. Inhale, center, exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Now, as you center your head, let's gaze to the right, just the eyes. Let's gaze to the left, just the eyes. And repeat. And left. And center. Let's inhale, lift our shoulders and drop them. Exhale and drop with an exhale. And one last time. And just shake it off. Shake your arms. Shake your body. You can do some loving taps. All right. Yeah, so let's do breath work for the equinox. Some of you might be familiar with the Nadi Shodhana breath, or Nadi Shodhana. We're going to do it in equal parts. So if you like, you can wrap your ring finger above the pinky finger, and the index and middle finger come together. The thumb and the pinky finger will be blocking the nostrils alternatively. So I'll be inhaling through the left for 4, 5, or 6 counts. Blocking the nostril, hold it center for the same amount of time, and exhale right nostril. Let's repeat through the right, hold, and release through the left. Inhale through the left nostril again, hold, exhale through the right. Repeat. Now follow your own flow, your own rhythm. Equal parts. Let's do one more round by ourselves. And release. Notice if anything has shifted for you. Keeping your eyes closed or a soft gaze, I want to invite you to inquire within, asking yourself, what is happening now in my physical body? Just noticing a couple things without going into a story, just making an inventory. And then we'll ask ourselves, what is happening in my mental body? How is my mind today? Asking our mind, how are you today? Once you've received your answers, and if you've received your answers, you can move to asking your heart, How are you, my heart? You can place a hand on your heart if you wish. Both hands. Still anchored, still sitting here in our space, in your sanctuary, wherever you may be today. How are you, my heart? And if things are a bit challenging, then you can acknowledge that and stay in the moment. Stay with your breath. You can just dip in briefly and come back out into the space, into this moment. We don't have to go all the way in. We keep this practice light tonight. And next, you could place your hands on your belly and ask, how are you, my emotions? How are my emotions today? Or now? And feel at the same time your hands contacting your body, contacting the seat of your emotions, your belly. How is your belly? And next, if that's available, we could ask ourselves, how are you, my soul? And if that doesn't feel tangible or available right now, that's okay. So you can stay with whatever is available right now. And sometimes we don't hear an answer, but we feel, or we see a color, or we get an image, just being open to whatever arrives. Beautiful. And so these practices are sourced from inner yoga, but also from my teacher, Nicola Amadora, in her Transforming Lives training. And I really like to acknowledge my teachers. I think that that's something that is very important, especially as the feminine is rising. We're noticing more and more. You might have noticed there is a new flavor to the feminine. There is this neo-feminism that is arising, and sometimes there is a shadow that can appear, that is that we forget to quote or name or acknowledge the lineages that we're sourcing from, or the people, and often women get forgotten. So I bow to my teachers right now, and maybe you all want to take a moment right now to honor all the people who have gifted you, transmitted their wisdom, their knowledge. And so enlivenment. This term also comes from my teacher, Nicola Amadora, and there is a conversation here about the feminine being the way through the body. Most people nowadays love to seek enlightenment, and that's wonderful. It's such great news. Yet, at the same time, it seems that the way up is to the way down through the body. And there is a rise of somatic intelligence in the collective, and it seems to be more and more available. We see the word trauma more out there. We see the word somatic more and more out there, and that's all great news. And so enlivenment, it's really about cultivating intimacy with ourselves. And when we're intimate with ourselves, we are available to others. Dina Amsterdam often suggests that we are a better listener, we're more present, more available when we're 60% with ourselves and 40% with the person in front of us. And so it's this constant invitation to come back into this moment, into what is happening now within me. And that is not always easy, and that is not always available, and we have so much compassion for this understandable inability to feel sometimes. Sometimes the body is not a source of good memories, sometimes the body is not a memory of safety, and it is a journey to feel at home in this body, right? So I'll share a little bit about my journey to give you some context. I've always been very drawn to dance, movement, yoga since I was a very asthmatic and allergic child, and so my body was never a source of joy. It was always a source of problem and medication and hospitalization, and then I started becoming free and freer as I was getting into my body through movement and through, thank goodness for acupuncture and homeopathy and healthy foods. And that was my path all my 20s, lots of yoga, and I received a message for the first time in 2012. I love to share this story because that's when I had my first clairaudient message, and I was told, you are to heal the feminine. And back then, that was extremely abstract for me, and I was very curious about what that meant and how it would look like. And slowly the teachers started appearing, right? This is how it works. So I got into yin yoga quite a bit. It was really wonderful. And to understand also the traditional Chinese medicine look on the feminine and masculine dance of polarity, and understanding that one does not go without the other, just confirming this beautiful dance between both the feminine and the masculine. So yin came into my life because we are in a yang society, and it was really time for me to balance. And then many other teachers accompanied me in the rewilding path and embodiment path and movement and dance. And then I was invited to be initiated in the Mary Magdalene lineage. And that was a huge honor. I was invited by Nicola Amadora. My teachers, I would say, in movement are Dina Amsterdam, Tenley Wallace, oh my goodness, so many yoga teachers, fantastic, Janet Stone, some voice teachers, Sylvia Nakash. And so slowly, I would say during the last decade, I was activating all these gifts that we are given as human creatures. And being home, thanks to healing trauma and studying somatic psychotherapy, became more and more available. As some of you might know, when trauma hits the soul parts and we fragment, which could be called also dissociation, right? And it's such a beautiful journey to bring those soul fragments back. And it takes a very, very safe guide, and to repattern ourselves with those missed experiences, which usually stem from a safe container, a person that makes us feel safe, heard, seen. And also, we should not forget the loving kindness piece. And so I want to take a moment here to invite you to remember in your feeling senses, a moment where you felt seen, where you felt held, where you felt understood, even if it was just a glimpse or just a word or a sentence or a hug that really shifted something for you, or an acknowledgement. Let's take a moment here. You can close your eyes or keep a soft gaze. And allow yourselves, once you feel it, once you contact that memory, really receive it in your body. And notice where you feel it in your body. Or notice if it has a light, a color, or if it's a vision, or you're hearing something said to you. Take your time here and luxuriate. Savor that memory as you bring it to life again. Maybe there's a few. Allow those. There's a few that want to come up. That's great. Just bask here for a couple more moments. And I want to add something here. I want to invite the Divine Mother, if you resonate with her. And allow yourself to feel her presence. The Divine Mother, you can rest upon her chest. Allow her to hold your burden. Just rest there. Feel her loving embrace. Feel her caressing your hair. Receiving those feelings. Receiving her touch. If that feels safe and comfortable. And once you feel complete, let's join in a joyful ah. And take a moment to look around, situating yourself in your space. Take your time, notice some colors, maybe 3 colors. Take a mental list, make a mental list. Notice 2 sounds that are pleasant in your space. If you can't hear any, maybe imagine those. Although we are trying to situate ourselves in the present moment. And maybe there's a taste in your mouth. Bring your attention to that. And let's rock from side to side, our sit bones, the movement really starting from the pelvic bowl. Swaying, maybe some spirals want to emerge from your pelvic bowl. Allow for those. Still connected to our breath. While I check my notes very briefly. Oh yeah. I want to name that it takes courage once again to show up. It takes courage to be enlivened. It takes courage to be embodied. And the way of the feminine is about fierceness also. There is fierceness, and as my teacher would say, Mary Magdalene's teachings are gentle as a dove, fierce as a lioness, and wise as a serpent, as a snake. And so there is a holistic aspect here to being a whole person, to allowing all these aspects to be present within ourselves, to allow all these expressions to be enlivened, to be activated, to be expressed in our actions, in our thoughts, in our speech, and even in our gaze. And we do the same in somatic psychotherapy. We invite all parts at the table. We welcome it all. And it takes a lot of courage to show up in this way and to be okay with all those parts. So I want to invite us to really steep in this courage for showing up today, for showing up in our vessel, in our temple. And really, the way of the feminine isn't about how goddessy your dress is or how much you're adorning yourself today. It's really found in the blood, sweat, and tears, in the everyday life, in the most mundane things. And I think those are really the teachings that have resonated with me the most. And so I want to invite us to center ourselves into these teachings. And once again, bowing to all the teachers and to ourselves as we will close for today. Thank you for being here with me. It was an honor to be in this beautiful space of this lodge of San Francisco. And bowing to ourselves, bowing to our heart, bowing to our soul. Thanking our ancestors, thanking the Divine Mother. And our circle is now open again. And I invite any questions in the comments. And I just want to make a little announcement that I will be hosting a women's circle that's called the Shakti Circle. It's a monthly or sometimes bi-monthly gathering, and it's online, and there's more details on my website, templeshakti.com. So whoever resonates with this, I'll be happy to greet you and thank you again. Many, many equinox blessings. May you be well. Bye-bye.